All right. December 2017, January 2018. Again, same Simple Stories albums we've seen before. The thinner ones before they started doing the particular Christmas ones. This one is red. It's a little bit faded in the sun, but it's the Craft album. Again, with the spine that is stamped. Opening page, a little bit different this year. I have a cut file. So I had a silhouette, or still have a silhouette, but I had a silhouette that I wanted to use that year. And this was a cut file. I don't know where I got it from. May have made it. I don't know. But kind of fun as my opener. Also fun to put on the Reason Why page, which was the digital that I did in Photoshop, and then I did all my journaling. Most of the stuff I do is handwritten, but this, I kind of like the look of it. I was in Photoshop anyway. Printed it on a 5x7, put it on a white piece of paper, put it on a pattern paper, and then added a sticker to there. Kind of fun to see through the December 2017. If I was doing it now, I probably would have cut this in like a silver paper or a gold paper. But at the time I wanted white, so it is white. I could go back and emboss it or stamp on it, but I'm just going to leave it because that's what my brain was thinking at the time. So starting out with that Reason Why page. And, you know, some more hopes and dreams for the year. And I used a photo of myself with some sunglasses on. And I changed the color and the saturation and stuff, and then just did the typing in Photoshop right over top. And, you know, my hopes and my plans and my intentions for December. Okay, so the reason why I am doing this album, and then particular to me, so I want more time and more joy, more rest, more spontaneity. My goal every year is for December to be one of the calmest months of the year. And in order for that to happen, I put in a lot of work prior to December. My gifts are purchased. My plans are set in terms of what I'm going to bake. I start things ahead of time. Usually like gifts, Christmas cards, everything is done by Halloween. So that going into November, I can start thinking about baking. Going into December, I can just enjoy every day in December for the Christmas stuff that I love. Okay, so that's my plan. And so, you know, more leaving things to chance and to change. Just, you know, not stressing over things, just enjoying the season. So I typed it out, put a little sticker, matted it, we're good. Okay, so here's a card that was from Ellie Studio that says December. Love Ellie Studio. The stickers from Ellie Studio, this big star. And if you noticed, I was kind of picking at it a minute ago because I didn't realize what it was. But I stitched a hole through and then tied a little bow in sewing thread. If I was doing that again, I'd probably put twine. But it's a little bow there to hold that star in place. The tiny attacher, of course, won't work because it's a stapler and it won't staple through acrylic. But, yeah. And then this is a little quote from Walt Disney. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Okay, so that kind of ties in with my intentions for the December and my hopes and dreams. So, yeah. Little more layering than we saw in other years, but also a little bit minimalist too. Love the peekaboo things. You're going to see lots of Ellie Edwards and Ellie Studio in here because that's what I used this year, both in the stamps and also in the embellishment. So if you don't know about Ellie Studio, come talk to me. They have fantastic products. I love them. Okay, so this year the December numbers aren't actual numbers. They're these little tags that I got from Ellie Studio, and I just stamped the day on them. They were just blank December, and so I could put the number in with whatever color I wanted, which was really nice. So here we are, December 1st, panoramic of my desk at work. And then I went and got my hair done, which I usually do. And I got it chopped a bunch and colored. So I usually do a before and after. And yay. So the is all gray, which works with this, but also yay with the colors there. December 2nd, it's Grinch Day because that used to be my mom's birthday. So, yeah, Grinch Day. We have some ornaments here, talking about, the Grinch Day, and there's the Grinch. She loved these cordial cherries. So we bought a box, and I actually cut the box and used it in here. Not acid free, doesn't bother me. I don't care. I did back it with paper so it isn't touching the photo. But that, I like including real life ephemera because it means something to me. And if it eats away the photo in 75 years, I'll be dead anyway. So who cares is my thought. So put a little tabby on there. That's our friend that we went and saw at her work. There was a big dead spot here, so I put in some embellishments. Again, things don't have to be Christmassy necessarily, right? Like food coma is not Christmassy. This yellow card is not Christmassy, but it said great something, and maybe it was great food and good times equals amazing memories. And I put family, great family, because it felt better. But here we went for brunch with family. So Tom and his long arms took a selfie of the entire table. Again, doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to have an Instagram perfect life, right? To have a good life. Instagram perfect lives are lies for the most part anyway, from what I've seen. So, yeah, not a great photo, bad lighting, but we had a good time. The 4th, this was a weird card. This should probably be on the bottom, but I put it at the top. Liked the wood grain there. It was our lights in the apartment that are little R2s and BB-8s from Star Wars, because we love these lights. That's the thing. Here's our Christmas card for the year. Sometimes I will use it and have an opening and do journaling in there. This year it is close. There's no journaling in it. Okay. Also the year that I found out that 6x6 cards take extra postage. And so, especially to Canada, my postage was triple what it normally was. Yeah. Got the cards super cheap. I'm like, these are cute, I'll use them. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Live and learn. These were cut and embossed. They're Tim Holtz. And that was our Christmas card for the year. And I think I had some of the red, some of the blue. And so I had extra, so I just adhered them back to show some people got the red, some people got the blue. Blue had stripes, the red had polka dots. The 5th, again, very minimalist, this one. Here's a picture of all the cards and packages. Yeah, that's the story. I like doing some of these little panoramic ones. Like if you take a panoramic shot, you don't necessarily have the space in the album, but making it to the 6 inches, you get the panoramic, and then you can put it on a card that has a print and add in extra stuff around it. So this was our trees. We had multiple trees this year, which is why I had the panoramic of the 2, because one was kind of in the kitchen/dining, and then this one was in the living room area. Again, used a lot of Ellie Studio cards. Their products are great because they have the prompts and the cards there. So just matching it with the papers. And then I like doing big pictures. These are 6x8, so a 5x7 is nice because it lets you have the chance to use paper, but it still gives you that big picture of things that are really important or things that you really want to highlight. So putting stuff in the dead zone here, keeping it simple, right? Sometimes it's about the story and sometimes it's not. We took my mother-in-law to Disneyland for the day. Again, dead zone up here in the sky, and then used an acrylic to do a little song verse there. More cards. I love cards that have list things. We were able to list the different rides that we did or things that we loved that day. Here I put 2 photos on one, and then cut a little marketing piece that says Disney, and it's foiled with a heart, kind of tying them together there. I could have done them the full size. I chose not to for whatever reason. I think most of the photos I wanted a little bit of a white border around, which you can see the printing isn't perfect. I remember being irritated by that year, but it is what it is. Again, stars. Oh, what fun. This was a show that we went to. Here's all the different people that sang or what happened, where it was. Another cut file, so me using my silhouette. These configurations, I don't even know if they do them anymore. I have a ton, so if you love this, let me know because I can share. I have tons of them. I like this one for the 4x4s and the 2x8 strip. I cut that out, put my little piece on top, and then I used the tiny attacher from Tim Holtz. This is so good for these albums. And then just stapled it through so that nothing moves and nothing will fall out. But I like this because then I can do flips. I do a lot of flips with this configuration. So this was our our friend Christmas with our friends. Those are their cats, and just putting a few little stickers. I love taking shots of, when you're doing like New Year's or toasts or drinks or, food from above. I just love that. And then you can put a little sticker in the middle. I do that a lot. And then this was a full 4x6, just cut it down, obviously. And then I used red washi tape here. I usually use cardstock now just because it folds a bit better, but couples Christmas with our friends. So that was fun. And then on the back, we had a pizza night. Again, cut it from 4x6 to 4x4. And then I love when you take pictures of pizzas, just like the whole pizza. And here, like, I don't want the whole circle. I just wanted the feeling of the circle. And then you can put a sticker and a word and a little star in the middle. Love it. Love it, love it. So much fun. Some of the other albums, I actually printed out a big pizza and then cut it into a circle. So that's another idea too, but love that. Wrapping paper. Here, the day 12, I wanted a lot of little photos. So I took a big photo and then I just cut it up. So here's my wrapping paper. Here's the tag. Starting to do some interactive elements here. All the journaling is on the back of what I got every single person in my life that year for Christmas. Tiny, tiny writing because it had to fit on the tag. But those are all of the wrapping paper I used that year. Using up some old ones, opening up some new ones. Some of those will look familiar video to video. And then I just put this tag in. I'm Santa's helper, and I was making a list. And literally the list is on the back. So sometimes the stickers are nice little prompts for stories as well. I do always make a list of things that I want to document for that month. Leaving something open to life, but also having some things planned. I love documenting the movies and the music of the season. Because both of which are big parts of my season. So here's different albums. And in other December dailies, you're going to see some of the same albums. I cannot go through my life without listening to the Nutcracker, without listening to John Denver and the Muppets. I know it's silly. I know I am 46 years old, but every single year I have to listen to the 12 Days of Christmas with the Muppets. Bonnie M. or Living Strings that I grew up with. Engelbert. So many good memories with this album, and my brother being silly and recreating this out our back door because our back door had a big window like this. And some of these albums I don't necessarily listen to anymore. Like, I don't think I've listened to Amy Grant's in a while. Kenny and Dolly, I'll be home with bells on every single year. Some Canadian artists. We always listen to The Grinch and, of course, Bing, the Christmas voice. So, you know, some of them you don't listen to as much. And other times you do. So it's kind of nice having that. And then I have my playlist here. You know, it's not Christmas to me until Elvis sings Blue Christmas. Like, and it has to be random. I can't just play Blue Christmas. It has to be I'm listening to the music, and then when he sings Blue Christmas, it's the season. Like, it's go time in my brain and in my heart and in my mind. And so, you know, and if I happen to randomly have my playlist and it has all my music going and it plays in September, it's go time in September. Like, so I have to watch. I have to make sure I don't put it on randomize of all my music, because then, you know, I'm much earlier than I need to be. So a specific LE Studio card here for songs, alternating these little stickers. Those are stickers of little memories. Not necessarily about every single album, but just like the top 6 of my memories of all the music, right? This is not a Christmas card, but I liked the colors. They matched with this. Put my tag here and put some stars. And it looks like this top star moved a little bit because it's not perfectly aligned. But this is all the 13th, just the 12th and 13th. But I cut it off because I didn't have anything else to say there. Okay, I could have added maybe a few more albums, but I decided not to. I cut the page protector in half, put a tab, and now we're on the 13th. So here's my baking list. I love lists. And if you don't have something that gives you the opportunity to do a list, make your own. So this was a card that just had the green. And then I put the little box, stamped baking list, wrote the year in, used the sticker that said homemade cookies, and then I used a star and stamped it. And you can tell that I stamped it because it's not perfectly aligned. Okay, because these are smushed. This should have been over a little bit. Is what it is, folks. You know, stamped it out. What did I make? So here's all the different cookies that I made, which is fun because I have never made pumpkin spice cookies since. Interesting. I don't even know where I got that recipe because I don't think I've made it since. M&M cookies, Reese's Pieces, and all that. Yes, those are kind of givens. And this is a card that was pre-printed. I put a little label. This year I made 70 dozen. Oh my goodness. I didn't even remember. I remember the years where I made like 36 or 30 dozen, but not 70 dozen. So this was a collage print. I don't know. This is Ellie Edwards. And this was before I knew how to do some of the stuff with the template. So I actually cut out a card to fill those 2 spots. Because whatever was there, I decided not to use. And I did my journaling, sticker of story of today, and did my little cluster here with the date. And here's all the different cookies. There's 10. So I only have pictures of 8, but, you know, or 9, sorry. Oh no, that's all 9, right? 4 and 5, that's 9. And then the 10th was 2 banana bread. So those are all the cookies. So collages are kind of fun because there's not a lot you have to add to this, right? Just added a few little bits. Had a spot here. I could have done the journaling up here and had another picture here, but I didn't have it. These filler cards are nice. Added some little journaling here. So it's 2 distinct thoughts. And then here's the whole story of this. So I took an afternoon off, grabbed some groceries, and did all of my baking. Okay. I love doing that during the holiday season, you know, taking an afternoon off and just doing something holiday-ish. It's just special, right? Because everyone else is out of your hair and you just have the place to yourself, and it's so much fun. Baking, wrapping, whatever. Okay. Love, love, love big photos. And here, this was something I cut out on my silhouette again. Could I have done this in Photoshop? Yes. But here I decided to cut it on my silhouette and then just put it directly on this big photo. And that is the page. Okay. These page protectors are a little bit bigger, which sometimes I find incredibly irritating. Like now I would probably put something in behind this, but whatever. I didn't at the time. You see that the photo was printed with the border. It didn't print perfectly. Again, something that irritates me. Whatever. It is what it is. But this was candy cane circle again. I just used the photo here. Oh, sorry, not candy cane circle, Christmas tree circle. Put the twinkle lights here. Replicated an idea I had with that other card that was the wooden. So you've got the wooden there at the with the journaling at the top, wooden with the top, with the lights, and then here I got a, I was chosen for a Christmas bonus thing from our director. So very happy with that. Put the date there, moved on. Okay. You saw one of these cards. I had a couple of these cards. You saw it somewhere else. That was an LA Studio card. Again, nice place for your eye to rest. Don't have to do a lot of work here. And then, you know, a listing of all the things. Didn't have anything for this. This with the insert didn't fit. I didn't want to cut it. So it was good to kind of match the white and the black. These cards are nice just to fill in where you need to fill in. So here, I made trays of cookies for each of our workplaces. And so this was the one that was with the ones at Tom's work. Some people decided to say thank you and wrote on the little slip of paper that said, you know, from Tom and Tanya Fierce, like, really awesome and thank you. And I thought that was so, like, and Tom, knowing that I scrapbook, he's very good at thinking of these things and pulling things and saving things for me. He brought it home and was like, look, they wrote on it. And so I punched a couple holes and I put it in the book and wrote the story on the back. Okay. Definitely, you know, it was designed just to be thrown away at the end of the day, but people taking the time to write the little notes is just really cool. So I put it in here with a little sticker. At my work, in the meantime, I once again convinced my coworkers in my area to have dollar store deer ears. And here is my coworker. If you saw the last year, we convinced him to be Santa Claus. We had decorated the pole with lights. Here we put garland and stuff, and we called it Candy Cane Lane, which is probably why I thought Candy Cane Lane when I was looking at this one, because this was coming up. And the little story, and here's the photo of all of us dressed like reindeer with him as Santa. So, and then of course called it Oh Dear. So much fun. I love it. I love it. And I think of this photo and the other one as well when we were the elves every year at Christmas time. You know, since 2020, we're predominantly work from home. And so, while I love that, during December, I really miss being in the office with people. For the days you can take in trays of cookies and just make people happy. For the times when you can decorate and share in the holiday joy. In the times where people talk about their traditions, whether, you know, they celebrate Christmas or they celebrate Denali, they celebrate Kwanzaa, they celebrate Hanukkah. It's just such a fun time to learn from each other and about other cultures and traditions and, you know, that festive spirit. So I miss that. So it's fun to have these photos. 16th, our anniversary every single year. So this is our 4th. Again, this is not a Christmas card, but I liked the gray. It really highlighted the red on here. I'm doing a little more, you know, clusters. I think I do a lot more clusters now than ever before. We had gone to see our friend at his work, and we went to this food place before we went to the movie. So the place that he was at, there was a IDW gallery was closing, and so we wanted to go there before it closed in the new year. So took him for lunch and went and saw the movie. And then we went and saw the movie again with my brother-in-law and our nephews. This is marketing. Anytime I get anything like clothes or whatever that has the tag with Star Wars, I always keep it because I will cut that out and use it. Again, another list of 3 things that we did that day. You know, we saw the Star Wars movie for the 2nd time. We had our Fierce Family Christmas. apparently I had gotten food poisoning a few days sooner, so was feeling a little rough, but managed to make it through the day despite being nauseous. So here we are playing some games. This was the dice game they were playing. Again, another little insert. You know, this is the day of the 17th, but that's the insert for extra photos. Not a lot of journaling except for this little piece. The, you know, pictures of people with their toys and gifts and goodies. And then the 18th, around the house. So another thing I like doing sometimes when you don't have a lot to say is just what's happening. You know, what's happening around here. So there's our door. Again, you know, what on my knees looking up at the door. I liked the light on the door, the juxtaposition of the light in the dark. Did it in black and white. You know, here's some pizza. You know what's happening. What's happening. Okay. Doesn't have to be big. And then here is a little envelope and there's a little letter inside. So that hidden journaling, what is this letter? I don't know. Let me look at it. So this is a letter to myself. So you've seen this in other albums where I kind of do a letter to the year, or there's like a Dear Santa prompt. This is a Dear Me. So, you know, there's things that I was dealing with, and, you know, it was just a letter to me. So that's kind of cool. I'm not going to read through it. But I like the idea of a snapshot of real life. So, you know, here we have around the house. This is what's happening around the house in my heart and in my brain. So it's a little letter to myself. And left it, you know, stamped. Every little moment matters. Put a sticker. It all matches. And then when you flip it, we're into the next day. Okay. So this was an interesting year because in kind of digging through some family stuff and asking questions, because that fascinates me, we found out that in his lineage, in Tom's lineage, was the Jewish faith. His parents are not religious. Tom did not know this. And so, sorry, I had to take a drink. This was something new. And I knew nothing about, well, very little about Hanukkah. So really started researching and digging into it and looking into the customs and talking to other people. And I got us a menorah to light and to follow some of the traditions of that and observe, you know, the different days and some of the different customs, some of which we could do, some of which we couldn't, but, you know, to kind of tie into that heritage. And so that was a totally new experience for both of us, which I used the new this year sticker there because definitely it was. And, you know, we had our menorah on the table and so we could light it every day. But it was in front of this big Santa I had. So I thought that was kind of a cool picture because my whole life, one of the dominant images, having been born into a Christian family and baptized, is, you know, Jesus and Santa, and you have those iconic images and, you know, those stories and that history and that tradition. So here's this Santa, and then, you know, that has been there all my life. And now we have this menorah, which is new to us. And, you know, honoring that aspect of his lineage and learning about that. And, it was very special and meaningful, and I love learning new things, so it was really kind of cool to do that. So big photos can say a lot in the symbolism and in the iconography, but also just really tell one story can tell a lot of story with a little bit of journaling. So, keep that in mind as you're going through. This is just a regular envelope. So hiding that journaling away, it's still there. It's an interactive piece, which is kind of nice in these albums as well. Another day, lots of fun, lots of photos. You have an insert here. We went with our friends to Universal Studios. Here we have the Grinch. I had this cool little Elliot Studio cutout, so I put it on top, him saying bah humbug. They made these little inserts, Simple Stories did way back when, the 3x4 and the 4x6. They don't now, unfortunately, which is really sad. Scrapbook.com will do the 4x6. I don't know if they have the 3x4 one, though, but our friend loves Harry Potter, so I love the Grinch. I grew up the Grinch. Mom loved it. But then we were there for Harry Potter as well. So it was really fun. Again, here we are with the butterbeer. I love photos like this because you can put a little sticker in the middle. Here's all of my journaling for this whole day. It's this one little piece. Again, it was supposed to be 3x4, but I changed it to 4x3 and stamped So Much Fun. Not a Christmas stamp, but it was definitely lots of fun. And here's all of our little pictures. There's the dinosaur there if you can't see it. I'm not shocked over nothing. Here's an actual dinosaur sticking out there. Well, actual dinosaur. Her at the gates, and then, some of the voodoo donuts that we got after. Lots of fun. Oh, Shakespeare. Oh, I forgot about that photo. I need to print that bigger for my junk journal. But fun to do that spread. Again, little photos, so lots of just little things around the place. This is a double spread. I love when they have these spots for journaling, so favorites. And again, I offset the stickers, and then the stickers are on here to kind of match as we go. Oh, I'm like, where's the 4? The 4 and the 5 are on the same photo. So, poinsettias, my plaid bedding, the candle, the scents that I like that year, my red nails, these Star Wars rings that say I love you, I know. So I got 2 of them so I could stack them so it says I love you, I know. The tree, the Star Wars tree, and then all of the decorations at Hobby Lobby. And then, there's so many things that I love about the season. So I was documenting some of my favorite things. And so then these are the photos. And then I also use one of these currently cards. Again, not necessarily Christmas, but I love these cards. They're so fun any time of the year. Like, what are you currently eating? What are you watching? What are you learning? What are you creating? Especially like watching, because you watch different shows and you binge different shows at different times. Or what are you listening to, which is kind of fun, or what are you reading? So those cards are kind of fun throughout the year. 22nd, day at work. It's the weekend. Again, this is not a Christmas card, but I added in here, paired something with another one, so the Grays match. How many days until Christmas? What time did I start work? What time was I out? So obviously I took the afternoon off. What was the date? Oh, we were sent home early on the 22nd because it was leading into the weekend. My company always does that. Before long weekends, we get early release, and it is the most beautiful thing. When the rest of the world is still doing things, you have 2 hours to get things done. So it's just so much fun. So we work a 6-hour day, and then we get an early release of 2 hours. So then after that, I met up with Tom, and we went to this barbecue place. So took some photos here. Again, a little blurry. Who cares? Highlighting the onion ring there anyway. Put them on the same photo. Add some stickers and you're done. Again, a card that is not Christmas, but you add some stickers and it becomes Christmas. I love having star stickers to kind of pull in the full spread, that repeating element. Here is a bunch of the I was doing a little mini album for my mother-in-law, and a bunch of the pages, I just laid them out, took a photo, stuck a sticker on it, done. Okay? And that's the story. I had gone grocery shopping. Again, I love these photos of, what's in your cart? What are you buying in that season of life? Because sometimes it's the same. Like we buy fresh mushrooms and tomatoes all of the time. King's Hawaiian buns. I did not have a King's Hawaiian bun until I met Tom. Those things are freaking amazing, and they're so good with turkey. We don't buy them except at the season with turkey, right? DiGiorno pizza. I have not had a DiGiorno pizza in I don't know how many years. Why? I don't know. We just don't buy it. We usually make homemade pizzas now. Green bananas. I love bananas when they're a little green. If they're yellow and they have even a couple of black spots, they will sit and wait for banana bread because I do not like ripe bananas. I don't like ripe peaches. So it tells a story without having the story there. So it's kind of fun to look back at this and kind of see the different things. M&M's probably was going to make some more cookies. I love M&M cookies. They're so fun to make. People love them. Fun to share. Again, why a big photo? This could have been a small photo, right? It could have been on here. Probably because the next day I wanted a big photo of us. We went to a local casino to the buffet. We heard that it was really good, so we took my mother-in-law to that. And then here we are. That night we played with Tom's new little Super Nintendo thing that I got him. You saw him holding it at the Fierce Family Christmas. And then it's Christmas morning. He's sleeping. I took a photo of him, which he was like, why would you do that? But I thought it was cute. It was like, it's Christmas morning, right? Here's our stockings, an insert. I had a little tag that said, let's stay home. It was just the two of us. My brother often would come down for Christmas and spend it with us, but it was just us that year. He had other plans. So let's stay home. It's just us. And then yes to more of this. So, and I put my journaling, I did my own little dots. Yes to Christmas peacefulness. Yes to reading Christmas novels. Yes to video games. Yes to no expectations. Yes to exciting gifts for him. Yes to, surprising him with, I got him these Ninja Turtle Funko Pops. They were Comic-Con exclusives. They were metallic, extremely hard to find. Searched around, found someone who had them, and coordinated him dropping them off at my workplace. And it was just so exciting to get him those because he was like, oh, I'll never be able to get them because, they were exclusives. And so here's packaging again. I fussy cut out, put it on. This is a non-Christmas thing. It was just a little bit of strip and made it Christmassy. So it was really fun to surprise him with that in the photo of him together. So again, full page spread, and I like doing these little inserts. The 26th, having a bit of a rough day, it looks like. Dealing, as much as the season is about family and kids and fun and joy, there's always an aspect of the season that hurts. If you've watched other videos, and I said earlier too, my mom and grandma both had birthdays in December, and they're gone, and there's a hole in my heart from that. Also dealing this year, especially based on the journaling, was Tom's cousins, as much as I love them and I love their kids, and nothing against them, nothing against in general, just a lot of kids in this season. That hole that is always in my heart from my miscarriage and losing our child, and then having uterine cancer, and then having that choice taken away from me. It was hard. And so I'm just talking about you know, I had a great time with family, but it was just a hard day. And you know, it is what it is, right? Like you can't change that, but that was real life that day. So, you know, I made the photo black and white. I loved being there, but I felt like the day was black and white. Opposite page. So our advent calendar, we had done a Star Wars one. So this one isn't necessarily the 26th. It more is the 27th. I talked before about the advent calendars, and we, you know, I made one, and this was handmade. All these little boxes and the tray, and they pulled out and they had treats in them. Instead of doing that and spending the money on, you know, events and things to do and chocolates and little treats, when we were at Disneyland that year, we decided to get this set of droids. So, you know, with BB-8 and R2-D2, which Tom collects, that's his boy, and C-3PO, who I am very much like, that neurotic type A C-3PO. Thank the maker. He's very much me. And so we decided, instead of spending the money on getting little things, that we would get the droids. And so I just put both in front of all of our poinsettia plants. These are silk flowers. We use them for our wedding. I still have them. We pull them out every single year and decorate with them. And so just put them in front to kind of have that construction of that photo. Again, a printed card from Illy Studio. A regular plain card. It just kind of matched with all the different colors. And then we did a Star Wars one. So these are the flaps that we ripped off. So every day, like this day was, you know, a white Chewbacca. Well, not necessarily Chewbacca, but, you know, he was a white Wookiee. You know, there's some droids. There is a stormtrooper. There is Luke Skywalker. You know, we had some Imperial guards. So I just when we pulled these off, I saved them. And some of them are nice and neat and some of them aren't. Who cares? But there was 24 days. Excuse me. So I saved the 24 and just put them in a little page protector. I don't think I ever did that again. We only did it a couple times, but I just thought that was really, really fun. And it kind of matched because R2's blue and there's blue there. And it was kind of a, you know, you've got a story of grief and sadness and, you know, just having something here where you can just change gears and your heart and your eye can rest. Sometimes that's kind of nice, is to have something that isn't specific, I guess. It is, but it isn't. Okay. And then collections. So collections are fun to do. So I love Santa Clauses. I love them. I got this at Costco years and years and years ago. I moved this snow globe. He actually lights up, and I think there's an air thing that puffs. I moved this from Canada down with me. If you watch the other videos, I grew up with a plastic Santa like this, exactly like this. I found it at a dollar store in, you know, San Diego years later. So I have my own, and I hang it up every year. And Mom used to always hang hers in the bathroom because it was plastic. So if it got, you know, condensation, it didn't matter. And growing up, it was always like, you know, Santa's, you know, there while I'm going to the bathroom, and he's there as I get out of the shower. And we used to always joke, like, you know, thanks, Mom, for putting Santa in there so he can be pervy. And we would laugh about it. But every year, what do I put in my bathroom? This Santa. So, you know, just saying that, you know, I'm gathering a collection. You know, I've had this for a while. This is at work. Things from the dollar store that were Santa's. I think I actually, you know, got rid of him and donated him when we moved. So it's kind of cool to have a photo of him. I got this one at Hobby Lobby. I special ordered him from the website because I couldn't go to any of the stores and find him except one that had a big hole in the front. So I ordered him off the website, and it was a whole ordeal because I like couldn't sleep for nights because I was worried he was going to come damaged, and he didn't. And he's beautiful and I love him. But just all these Santas, and I have so much more than this. I actually am doing an album of all the Santas I have. I love Santas. I I just love them. There's so much joy in the icon of Santa, and getting to be Santa, and yeah, I just love it. I love it. I love it, I love it, love it. So here's my Santa. So if you have collections, if there are things that you collect, like Aunt Linda collects little villages. So there's was it Hallmark that was making villages through the years, and she collects a piece every single year, and she literally has like a ping pong table set up with her Christmas village. So if you do that, and it doesn't have to be I have 100 pieces. It could be I have 5 things and I love them. Put them in an album. Put a number on them. Do a story about it. You know, whether it's something that you use every year, whether it's something that you collect. It could be, hey, these are my top 5 ornaments of the year. We tend to get new ornaments every year. It's something that my mom always did for us. You could do a page about that. What are my new ornaments for the year? They're fun. And again, it's a filler page of maybe nothing really happened that day. Put them in, right? It's fun to do that. Weather reports are also fun. So, you know, it was cold in San Diego that day. It was winter. It was brisk. My hands and my nose always get cold. So here I am in my Canadian mitts, driving to work in San Diego. Here's a card that I had from Ellie's studio. It was a note from today. It has the timing. So what did I do at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9, 10, all the way through the day? Again, it was a day where that was the only story I had. But kind of going into that and knowing that, I kind of jotted down notes because then I could use this card. Okay, so if there's things that you're like, oh, I really want to use this, pick a date. So this was a day. It was nothing great about this day. I just randomly thought, I'm going to mark down because then I can use that card. And so I did. Okay. Sometimes, you know, you have days where you're doing things like the reading list. So here's all the books that, you know, I was reading. And some of these books I don't even remember. But I was getting back into reading. So here I was watching Sherlock. And this quote in the show really hit me. I could relate to it. And so, again, just dealing with miscarriage grief here, it just really struck a chord. I found a meme where someone had put it together with snapshots, and then I did my journaling, which, you know, Sherlock ties in with the books, reading some of the stuff. So that was the day. Again, life, it is what it is. And here we go. End of December. I like ending on this day. You know, here's a snapshot of Instagram. Here's a long photo of all the people in the room. I did a panoramic. You know, did a little bit of a cluster. LA Studio does some of these great cards where there's a print, but then it's open. And so you can do your journaling, which is really fun. And using, you know, other cards and stuff and cutting them down. I did another cut file here for January going into 2018. I think I made these myself because I remember trying to space this. Anyway, again, I probably would have cut it out of something fun, but you can peek through. Peek-throughs are fun. Here's the first. So the numbers here were this, you know, printed, stamped. Here I just used little stickers and I put them all on these little star stickers I got from the Target dollar spot. Loved those stickers. I had so much fun. So there's the super moon. Put a sticker. Like, some days are a little more complicated and some aren't. Oh, in the December Daily Facebook group, people were asking, hey, which pin are you? And then you put where you were, and then they generated an image of pins of where everyone was. So there was a pin there. I assumed that was me because that's where I said I was. And then, you know, lost some packages with USPS. Constant struggle. There was a little meme that was super funny, so I put it there with a little rubber happy face, laughing face, because I thought that was funny. that was the second. Here's the third. We did a date night. Again, I think this was a Valentine's card. It worked with the date night card and the colors. Went with it. Okay. Sometimes people will do consistent one color all the way through. I didn't. Now I tend to use a paper line and go with it, but again, use what you have. So, had a huge headache that day. So kept it light. Here's some journaling. Here's the fourth that was documented. Picked a card of what are we watching. I put enamel dots, gray to match the other gray. Wrote what we're watching. Which is really fun. Like, Gotham isn't even on anymore. Walking Dead has changed. The Keepers, like, I don't remember what that was. Death in Paradise is still on BritBox. I love it. Miss Fisher's and Dr. Blake were murder mysteries. Dr. Blake was Australian. Miss Fisher's is British. I think it was a spin-off of, or an idea of Agatha Christie's, if I remember correctly. Broadchurch is so good. So good. Olivia Colman and David Tennant. If you get a chance to watch that. Hey, if you like British stuff, BritBox is the way to go. This, I think, was the first year I had BritBox. Oh, love my British shows. Broadchurch was so good, though. My movies. So I did something different this time. Again, use my silhouette. Cut a big viewfinder. This was fun. And hopefully this shows up and zooms properly. So I cut it out. I measured the sizing. And then proceeded in Photoshop to make all of the little movies the right size so that on the back, if you pulled this off, it would be nothing but little squares all glued in. And then, of course, I could rotate them and do whatever I wanted with them. So, now, why are some of these the right way? And, like, the Grinch is wrong. I don't know. Whatever. It works, right? I think I was going with the circles. This was cut on my silhouette. This is a sticker. There's my 5. And then in Word or Photoshop, I wrote out or typed out all of the Christmas movies and then use a little piece of holly to separate them out so I could print this on a piece of paper. Lots of fun. Lots of movies. Love Christmas movies. So, some days are very minimalist and easy, and other days hours, a little more finicky, but love how that turned out. Especially when I knew that the other side was going to be Ukrainian Christmas Eve. So I like documenting those types of things, but reminded me of the viewfinders when we were little, and just all of the Christmas movies we love. So Couples Christmas Eve. We had very few people that year because other people were super busy and we had a lot of sickness, but our friends came over. Again, with the glasses, we used these fancy Christmas cups and added some little stickers here to make this Christmas. It was just a red and white card. And then, that was Christmas Eve. And then Christmas here, we didn't do a lot of stuff because Tom had training at work. I did a cut file here. I just kept it into little journaling. Here's another wooden printed sheet with a card. And then my word for the year was connect. And then what is my new year? What are my hopes for that word? That's something that Ellie Edwards does, is one little word. And so I don't do an album and I don't do projects like she does, but in this season of my life, I printed out these cards and used stickers to do the word. And, there was a word that I chose for that year. And I haven't done that in a little bit, and not because I consciously decided, I just stopped doing it for whatever reason. So in the last couple years, I think my word is survive. It feels like the last couple years have been very, very heavy and busy and difficult. So I don't know. I don't do it anymore. Maybe I'll do it again for next year. But just putting that stuff in there. And then this was fun, and I think I might do it again this year. because it was the numbers of the year. So for December, what did I do? So I made 49 cards and I received 15. The cards are not in here. They're probably in my Christmas boxes somewhere. I sent 7 packages. I put up 26 strips of garland. I put up 12 strings of lights. We hung 281 ornaments on 3 different trees. At work, our Star Wars tree and our main tree. I hung up 5 different stockings. And the only reason I do that, even though it's only 2 of us, is because we had Star Wars ones. Now, if you're going to do this, you have to commit to it at the beginning of the month because you can't go back and remember all these. So I literally had a tally sheet of some things that I wanted to do. So as I was doing things, I would add them. And it was a spreadsheet that I had in my phone, and I could go in there and adjust it. So as I finished a book, I could go in and say, yes, I read one more book. Or as I finished a Christmas program or a Christmas movie, I could go into my phone and add it. So you have to kind of commit to this, and your phone you always have with you. So it was easy for me to do that. So yeah, I just stamped the number and wrote the thing. You could definitely print out a sheet and then just put it in here. But I liked the idea of having all these little pieces, again, using up little scraps, little things that I'm not using elsewhere. And having it in here just as kind of like a little chaotic building block piece. Lots of fun. Put up 10 different Santas. 4 parties. Buh. That's a lot. 57 presents wrapped. Just fun. Okay. So that is the December daily 2017-2018.